Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now, in today's episode, we're going to take a look at the Expensify credit card, which is a business card, but more kind of a corporate credit card. So we'll talk about that. Of course, Expensify themselves, how the card works, the earnings, redemptions, the features of the card, and if this is worth considering a slot in your wallet or not. So, of course, if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, of course, Expensify has been around for quite some time. I think they go back to 2008 when they were founded, but you might best know them for their expense and, business software. So, again, founded in 2008, apparently it was inspired by, hatred of actual expense reports, which is kind of funny if you've ever filled out expense reports. But their overall producting, again, expense tracking, invoicing, payroll, travel tracking, things like that. Again, things companies would need. Now, they did go public in 2019 on the NASDAQ. So, again, been around for quite some time. So, as most companies do who offer financial services, they end up expanding to credit cards, which enters our domain. Now, to be fair, obviously this credit card, as you might have guessed, is going to be heavily tied into the Expensify ecosystem, their software. Now, I hear good things about the Expensify software. I've never used it myself. This is like a one-man operation. There's really no need for it here, but I hear good things. But the card itself, the review, we'll try to, make it as fair as possible, but the card itself is what we're talking about. I don't really know too much about their software, so if you have experience with it, definitely drop it down below what your thoughts are with that. Now, again, the credit card here is going to be a cashback credit card, as you might have guessed. So, again, it's got a few tricks that we'll talk about, but when you're earning cash back here, again, you're going to get it from, all your corporate cards, right? So, corporate cards, if you ever work in corporate, the most popular one, I think, was, that green Amex card. Everyone's usually had, a corporate card, right? So, the gist of it is you can give these to, employees, and they don't have to use their own card. You don't have to handle reimbursements and things like that. So, again, the card is going to earn cash back, but, again, it's, from all the cards out there. All the spending that your employees do would count towards this. Now, as far as redemptions go, what you have too, they're going to actually send it back to you either in a linked bank account each month, or you could ACH to an outside bank if you prefer. So you've got two options there, but again, we're not doing travel or anything like that. So again, that's pretty standard stuff there. Now, when you talk about corporate cards, though, and versus small business cards, because a lot of the cards are like a Wells Fargo or a Chase that we call business cards are technically branded as small business cards. There's not a huge difference. Again, the software is going to play a part. Corporate cards, I think you can issue many more of them. Your controls are going to be probably a lot better, as far as you go into your account and manage them all from one spot. But again, they work the exact same as a credit card, as a business credit card that you're familiar with, just so you know. So with that, let's take a look at the card itself. Now, they technically have two cards. One is going to be the main focus, but we will touch on the other one. So the first one is the Expensify card. Now, it's funny. I looked all over the internet for this answer because if you look at the card, it says D. Barrett, which is the same name that Chase puts on their card. They even have one that says J. Diamond on it. I assume that meant Chase had owned a part of it, but I don't think they do. I just think they put the name on it, which is kind of funny and bold that they've been allowed to do it for this long. But okay, good for them. Anyways, annual fee, $0. Multipliers here mean 1x all purchases with $25,000 in combined spend, and 2x all purchases with $250,000 in combined spend. So again, that combined spend is what we're talking about. If you hand out 50 of these corporate cards to your staff, all of that spend counts. It's not just one person has to spend $250,000. Now, in addition to that, they also have this CPA card built for accountants, loved by clients. So I'm not a CPA, so I'm just making mention of it. It's basically the same. It builds off of the Expensify regular card. It's out there. If you're interested, again, if you have it, let us know. But again, it doesn't have any different earning potential. It's more so in the benefits and things like that you've got on screen. So if you are a CPA, shout out down below. But again, I think the Expensify card is going to be the one you're interested in most. And so there you have it. That is the card itself. Now, again, if you've seen this card before and you've been marketed to at least the time we're doing this, which is early 2023, then you might be wondering, well, hey, wait a minute, I thought it earned 4% cash back and it was actually the best business card around. And the reason you think that is because that's what Expensify wants you to think, and that's what they tell you. So if you take a look at this, this is almost more of the intro bonus that they have, if you will. So on screen here you have, again, 4% cash back card, which is again, what we would hope for. What caught my eye, but if you read through it, it's really 4x all purchases again with $250K in spend, or 2x with $25K in spend, and that's valid for the first 3 months of the card. After that, it drops to the rates you just saw above. Now, overall, spend-wise, again, yes, it's a business card, and I would still say, again, it's a corporate card, which is a step above a small business card. So, the spend numbers are lofty. I do think they're probably too high for what they're going for. $25K seems fair, given it's a corporate card maybe, but you'd really have to be, running a large ad agency, doing a lot of social media ads or something like that, have a ton of staff and things like that, to even get close to these numbers. We'll talk about some alternatives in a second. So right now, not looking great, for being honest. So what else does this card offer? Well, there's two other party tricks that if you're an Expensify user, you might be interested in. So first of all, having this card can actually cut your Expensify bill by about 50%. So if we pull this up from their site, their actual pricing, again, I haven't paid for any of this myself, but it's on their site. You can take a look at it. Now, we have pricing here that does get interesting because, again, you can see, you can collections or controls, you can keep going and kind of go into what they offer. Now, again, the card will actually give you, have the card, again, no annual fee, it will give you 50% off, but if you zoom in there, it's if less than 50% of your company's spend is on the Expensify card, you'll pay the unbundled fee on a sliding scale. So basically, you can't just get the card and then hope you're going to pay 50% less. However, if you go back to the top of this page, annual pricing, if you pay annually, you'll save 50% already. If you don't want to pay annually, then you obviously wouldn't save 50%. There's also bundled and unbundled pricing as well. So that is a little bit interesting. It sounds like to me you can still save 50% if you pay annually. Now, again, I usually pay for things annually, like car insurance, for example. Homeowners insurance is usually paid annually. You do get a little bit of a discount on that. When you do pay annually, I don't think anyone loves to pay annually. You prefer to pay month to month and have more of your money to use each month. So that could be a potential play depending on really how much you're paying for your Expensify services. So I know it's a little bit, confusing there. I could get 50% either way, so I don't necessarily need the card. But if I get the card and want 50%, I still have to put most of my spend on this, and I assume they're going to track it based on, what's moving through your accounts. So with that, there's one other party trick here we have, and that's kind of the benefits of the features of the card itself. So again, if we take a look at this before we give our final verdict, we have some options. Now again, they have the 4% cash back front and center, but again, we talked about that. Save 50% on Expensify memberships, and some of these could be helpful. Because I think there's more features around managing corporate cards and things like that, setting limits, which is pretty helpful. Again, if you're running stuff like this. So again, some of these are kind of par for the course. Last thing here is the exclusive perks for the card. Now, they do say you could save over $75,000 on average in real discounts with these exclusive providers like AWS, Stripe, things like that. So I'll leave this on screen. If you hover over them, you can actually see what you could save, and you click into it. Any particular one, it looks like as long as you link your Expensify card, you should be able to save like a significant amount of savings. Honestly, if we're being honest with some of these, again, having not necessarily used these myself, the savings, they're talking about $5,000 credits. That's, pretty sizable, I would think. And so overall, there you have it. Those are all the perks and features of the Expensify card. Now, I think you could play it a few different ways. Again, if you're into Expensify hardcore and you really do need to issue a bunch of corporate cards to people, manage them all in one spot, then so be it. This could be for you. Just understand you're not getting the best multipliers. Again, to punch up to 2% back just for that much of $250,000 in spend is nothing. Most banks that we talk about, Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, you name it, all have a business card that gives you 1.5x back with no real spend requirements. And yes, those are small business cards, but again, you'd have to be pretty sizable to no, I legitimately want all these corporate cards. And honestly, if you talk to your business relationship manager in one of those banks, they could probably find a solution for you. So I wouldn't rule that out. Now again, if you wanted to get this card just for run through some of those discounts and savings that we saw, I could see that potentially being interesting. But for everyone else, I think you do better elsewhere. Again, Chase Ink Premier, it's got a $195 annual fee, but it'll get you 2% back on everything and 2.5x back on purchases of $5,000 or more. Capital One is a fan favorite, usually a Spark Cash or Spark Miles. Again, they have annual fees, but again, there's more earnings with no spend requirement as well. They're more charge cards. Of course, if you're not spending nearly that much as well and you legit want a business card, American Express Blue Business Plus or Blue Business Cash, they're basically the same card. One earns MR points and one earns cash back. Only difference is they cap the 2% at $50,000. a year and spend, but there is no annual fee. So you got options like that, I would say. So overall, though, that has been the Expensify card. So if you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, posting content just like this every week and right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. Again, question for you guys, especially Expensify users, shout out down below. What do you think of it? Is it worth using this and giving up the rewards for the ease of use in the software integration? Love to get your thoughts on that. I'm sure you'd be helping out a lot of people. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. Talk to you very soon in the next one.